Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of CAP Explained. Today we're looking into virtual fields. But before we do that, I want to show you a small change I did because we're gonna work with the authors application today. So I just changed the data a little bit just so we don't have some random generated data, but with real authors names. And the second thing I did is add initial load to our authors application just so the data is auto-loaded when we open the application. And maybe do a little continuation from the last episode when we added SQLite. If we do CDSW now and start the server, you're gonna see the old data. We're not gonna see the new data with the real names. Let's go to the authors application. We can actually see that it's all of the old data because it's saved in the database from the SQLite, and the new data added by the CSV file has not been deployed. So we need to do that before we proceed by doing CDS deploy. And this, of course, is going to wipe all of the data and rerun it from the CSV files. You can see it has been loaded here. And now if we do CDSW, and refresh our application, we can actually see real authors' names in our application, okay? And now let's proceed to the main topic of today's episode, which is virtual fields. Virtual fields are added, of course, in the domain layer, domain definition. And the difference between normal fields and virtual fields is that the virtual fields are not being saved into the database. So you can use them for calculations only in places of your application. Like here, you want to display some data that you don't specifically want to save into the database, but might want to use in your application for the user, just to display something, to hide something also, and so on. And it's very simple to add them. Let's go with the authors entity, and I'm going to add a virtual field. And to do that, you just type in virtual, and then as usual, the name of the field. In my case, I'm gonna do book count. Let's say I want to display the count of the books that a certain author has written. It's gonna be of type integer, Shift Alt F, format the code, and you can see that the virtual field has been added right now. And let's go and try to add it into our application, to authors list view, and to the object page. Let's add a section because we only have the ebook section, add from section. I'm just going to call it basic book information. Just like that. And here, you can see we can choose, even if it's a virtual field, we can still add it to our application. So let's add it. And let's call it book count. Book count, like that. We can close this panel. The server is still running. And if we refresh the page, or even it auto refreshes, you can see that this section has been added, but the book count is empty. Of course, because we don't have it in our database, and we cannot have it in our database because it's not saved to the database table. If we go to the page from the documentation, you can see it that it's because there's an automatically added annotation with virtual fields core computed true, which is not writable for the client and will be silently ignored. You can read the documentation for yourself, and you can change it that it's visible for the client by explicitly need to annotate these elements with core computed false. Okay, just so you know. And we see that it's in the application, but it's not calculated. So how do we get some data into this field? How can this be useful? So I added specifically this book count because it's something I wouldn't save in the database because maybe I want to know what the book count is, but I can see it in the books table. And to actually add the logic to it, we need to go to the service layer, of course. And with virtual fields, you always want to add them to the after event, after read event, because if you try to add them on the before or on, you can do this because the data is pulled from the database in the before and on, and this field doesn't exist in the database. So if you try to compile it, it will just throw an error. So it needs to be added to the this after read. And let's do that for the authors application, or the authors entity rather. This.after. After the read, I want to use authors. You can see it's auto-loaded from the typer package, so I can just press on it and it will be auto-imported here up. Okay, so authors, and usually you want to pass in the entity or like what the data that is read, and the request. In this case, we don't need the request, so we can just do the data. And this name doesn't matter what you type in here. You can type in authors, you can type in data. It's just a variable, a parameter. Of course, I want to have it asynchronous. Okay, and now we are passing the logic for this handler. So we get in the list of the authors. Let's maybe just console log everything that we get from this. Make this a bit bigger. And if I, for example, open this Toni Morrison author, I will get the ID. If you go here, you'll get the whole list of your authors. So we'll get the ID and the name. So our code needs to be capable to handle single entries or multiple entries. Everything is saved in an array, which you can see by these brackets, and it's an array of JSON objects. Okay. So since I have an array of IDs, I want to have this as a list of IDs. So then I can select it from the books table and entity and just group it by the author to see how many books each author has written. So let's retrieve all of the IDs from our authors data table. And I'm gonna do it by doing a simple map function. So authors.map, and I want to get the author ID. And this will result in a nice array of IDs. So let's do that. See, we get the array of IDs. And now having that, we can perform the select for the book count. We can group it. So const book count, that's going to be an array. Select from books, of course. And I want to select the columns of author ID. And I want to use the function of count, of course. Function count. So this way it's like SQL, you do count author ID. Here you need to pass it through this object notation. So we get the columns, and now we need to filter out the values. So where the author ID, pass in the object, where the author ID is in the IDs. Okay, so we only get the list of the filter values, because if we would open a singular array, we also want to filter, just get the value for this one, not for every books ever written, ever saved in our table. And we want to group it by the author ID. Maybe change the formatting here, because I like to keep it this way. Okay, and let's just see what the result is here to make sure that it worked. Let's go again to our application. I think I don't see an error, so let's just restart. CSW. Okay, we forgot the await. Always when you see this weird CQL syntax, this means you haven't passed the await and it retrieved the whole promise. So we don't want the promise. We want the data. And you can see we get this array of objects where we get the author ID, which we selected, and the count is respective for its book count, which actually only one author has 2 books in our sample application. So now let's go through the all of the authors we have, and let's actually take the value of the count and put it into the book count virtual field. So like in the other examples, for example here, we are looping through all of the authors we selected, and we'll fill the value. So for const author of authors, you want to set the author.book count to its respective value, and we do it by doing a simple map function. So you can do the book count, and I want to use a find function to search for or we could actually do this by book counts, and here we have a singular book count, and I want to search for the book count, which author ID is equal to author.id. So the ID of this one is the same as the one from here that we said. So from this one, it is equal to the ID from this one. Okay, so this way we get the value. Maybe let's actually put it into a variable so it's easier to see. Const book count is equal to, we can use the same, yeah, we can use actually. Okay, so the book count and the book count, let's console log it to see that it's selected correctly. Of course, this cannot be true. I think is it gonna throw an error? No, but you can see it selects, instead of the whole array, it selects one of each for each author. And now I can do book count dot count to fill in this book count value. Remove the console log. Everything has been reloaded. And if we go to each of the authors, you can see that the book count is going up. And yeah, we get the George Orwell with 2 books. So it doesn't really matter the logic that is before. The most important thing is this one, okay? Because I could type in anything here, and it's just important that you can set the virtual field in this after handler. So this is just like a helper logic, but the main logic, the most important logic is this one, because I could write here literally anything, and you would still see the value I have inserted, okay? All right, so at the end, I just want to also remove the console logs because they keep appearing. You can leave the empty handlers, but let's remove the rest. Okay, guys, and that's it for this episode. No, it's not it. I just still want to show you that the value is not saved into the database, and we can do this by opening Control P Open Database. And in our database, if we go to our, that's why I moved the camera just so we can see here. If we go to the authors table, you can actually see that the book count is not saved in the database, thanks to it being virtual. If we open the data just to make sure, there is no book count visible. Okay, guys? Just to make sure that I'm not lying. And thank you for watching today. Leave a comment as always. a like and a subscription if you enjoyed, and I see you in the next episode.